Your paycheck hits your account on Friday morning. By Monday night, half of it is already gone. Rent, groceries, a subscription you forgot to cancel. You tell yourself you'll do better next month. You always do. But the real answer is far stranger than bad discipline or a coffee habit. Your paycheck might not be broken because of you. It might be broken on purpose, by design, by systems built by people who studied exactly how a human brain behaves when money runs low. Think about that for a second. Somewhere, decades ago, certain people designed the financial structures you live inside today. Banks, payroll schedules, credit products, they did not build them to make you rich. They built them to make money off you. And the cruelest part is, the system doesn't even need to trick you on purpose. It just needs to understand how your brain works under pressure, and then quietly work against it. Here's where it gets interesting. In 2013, two researchers named Sendhil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir ran a series of experiments on something they called scarcity. They wanted to know what happens to your brain when you don't have enough of something, whether that's time, food, or money. Their findings shocked a lot of economists. Scarcity doesn't just make life harder, it changes how you think. When money is scarce, your brain narrows its focus. It zooms in on the immediate crisis and tunnels out everything else. That bill due tomorrow becomes everything. That long-term retirement plan becomes nothing. Because your mind physically cannot hold both at once. Mullainathan and Shafir measured this tunneling effect and found it could cost a person the equivalent of 13 IQ points in available cognitive function. 13 points. That's roughly the same drop you'd see after an entire night with zero sleep. So when you forget to pay a bill on time, or you buy something impulsive after a stressful week, that's not weak willpower. That's your brain running on a system built for crisis, not for planning. And paychecks, the modern bi-weekly or monthly kind, are engineered around exactly that vulnerability, whether anyone meant for that to happen or not. Why does the paycheck even look the way it does? Go back further than the office. Picture the company towns of the 19th century, where factory and mining workers were sometimes paid not in ordinary cash, but in company scrip, a private currency that could only be spent at the company-owned store. Wages went out, but they came right back in, through inflated prices on food, tools, and rent the company itself controlled. Workers technically earned a living. Many of them almost never escaped owing the company more than they had made that month. Economic historians who studied these systems found entire families staying in a state of quiet, permanent debt for generations, not because they spent foolishly, but because the structure of their pay was built to keep the money circulating right back into the same hands that issued it. You don't get paid in company script today, but the underlying logic, money flowing out through channels designed around someone else's incentives, never fully disappeared. It just became more comfortable, more digital, and far less visible. The 7-day workweek and the monthly pay cycle weren't invented for your benefit. They were inherited from agricultural and industrial schedules, back when factory owners needed predictable labor and predictable bookkeeping, not happy, financially secure employees. Workers got paid once a month, largely because it was cheaper and easier for the business to process, not because human psychology handles a 30-day gap particularly well. And here's the twist almost nobody points out. A monthly paycheck forces you to budget over a span your brain is genuinely bad at managing. Behavioral economist Daniel Kahneman, working for years alongside Amos Tversky, proved that humans are wired for something called loss aversion. Losing $10 feels almost twice as painful as gaining $10 feels good. That means every time you delay spending, every time you say no to something today, so you'll be fine in 3 weeks, your brain experiences that delay as a loss, not a plan, a loss, felt in real time. So what does your brain do with that discomfort? It avoids the pain. It spends now, where the reward is immediate, and pushes the cost into a future that doesn't feel real yet. This isn't a character flaw. It's a documented, repeatable pattern of human cognition, and the financial systems around you exploit it with remarkable precision. Credit cards are the clearest example. They split the moment of spending from the moment of paying. You get the small rush of buying something today, and the financial pain doesn't arrive until a bill shows up weeks later, often blended in with a dozen other purchases, so no single one stands out from the total. Researchers studying payment behavior have found that people will spend significantly more, sometimes close to double, when paying with a card instead of cash, because the card removes the visible, physical sting of watching money actually leave your hand. Economist Richard Thaler, who spent his career studying how people mentally sort money into separate categories, called this pattern mental accounting. You might guard your rent money fiercely, while treating a tax refund or a bonus as free money to be spent without a second thought, even though every dollar in both piles is functionally identical. Your brain doesn't see money as money, it sees money as a story, and the financial system has learned exactly which stories make you spend faster. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Even the systems meant to help you save are often built around the same psychological blind spots, just pointed in a different direction. In the early 2000s, economist Brigitte Madrian studied what happened when companies switched their retirement plans from opt-in to opt-out. Under the old system, employees had to actively choose to start saving for retirement, and most people simply never did. Under the new system, saving became the default, and employees had to actively choose to stop. Nothing about the math changed. Same money, same accounts, often the same employer match. But participation rates jumped dramatically, in some companies by more than 30 percentage points, just by changing which option required effort. That single finding proved something uncomfortable. Most people don't fail to save because they don't want financial security. They fail to save because the default settings of their financial life are quietly working against them, every single pay period, without anyone ever announcing it. So if a small design choice like opt-in versus opt-out can move millions of people from financially fragile to financially stable, what does that say about every other invisible default sitting inside your paycheck right now? Your tax withholding defaults, your benefits enrollment defaults, the minimum payment conveniently printed on your credit card statement, calculated to stretch your debt across years instead of months. None of these defaults are neutral. Each one nudges you in a direction, and historically, that direction has rarely been build wealth as fast as possible. Here's the modern mirror, the part that should genuinely unsettle you. You live inside an economy where your salary is taxed before you ever see it, where your spending is one tap away through a phone in your pocket, and where buy now, pay later options let you fracture a single big loss into 4 smaller losses that barely register against Kahneman's loss aversion at all. Every layer between you and your money has been smoothed out, sometimes deliberately, sometimes just through years of corporate trial and error, to reduce the friction of spending and quietly increase the friction of saving. Compare that to your ancestors a few centuries ago, paid in physical coin, watching the pile in their hand shrink with their own eyes every time they handed some over. There was no tunneling effect hiding the true cost from them, because the cost was sitting right there in their palm. Today, the cost is abstracted into numbers on a glowing screen, swipes, taps, silent automatic deductions. The system has gotten dramatically faster. Your brain, built across millions of years for a much slower world, simply has not caught up. Even the economist Milton Friedman, decades before any of this digital infrastructure existed, theorized that people don't spend based on this month's paycheck alone, but on their expected income over a lifetime. In theory, that should make people smooth their spending sensibly across good months and bad. In practice, scarcity research shows that when this month's paycheck is tight, the future basically disappears from view entirely. The lifetime plan that Friedman imagined gets crushed under the weight of today's tunneling brain. But here is the genuinely strange part. the twist underneath the twist. None of this means you are powerless against it. The same research that exposed how scarcity narrows your thinking also revealed a way out. Mullainathan and Shafir found that when people built in even small financial buffers, the tunneling effect eased noticeably. A little slack in the system, just enough room to think past tomorrow, was often enough to restore a meaningful share of that lost cognitive bandwidth. And Madrian's opt-out research points to the exact same lever, just running in reverse. If defaults can be quietly weaponized to keep you spending, they can just as easily be re-engineered to make you save without ever having to think about it. Automating a transfer the instant your paycheck lands, before your brain even gets the chance to tunnel in on today's stress, turns the very same psychological quirk that keeps so many people poor into the exact mechanism that builds wealth instead. You're not fighting your brain's wiring. You're simply redirecting it toward a different default. So no, your paycheck wasn't designed by some villain twirling a mustache, plotting your financial downfall in a back room somewhere. It was inherited from centuries-old labor systems, gradually shaped by companies optimizing for their own profit, and left mostly unchallenged, because most people quietly assumed their money habits were purely personal failures. They are not. They are the predictable output of a very old brain meeting a very modern, very frictionless financial system that was never built with your bank balance as its top priority. Next time your paycheck disappears faster than you expected, that familiar wave of guilt might still creep in. But remember what's actually happening underneath it. Your paycheck isn't designed to keep you poor. It's designed to keep you spending. And for most of history, those two things just happen to be the same. The real question now is whether you keep playing inside a system built around your blind spots, or whether you start quietly rebuilding your own defaults, one automatic transfer at a time, until the system that once worked against you starts working, almost invisibly, for you instead.